What's up, everybody? I'm Austin, a wireless coordinator and intercoms programmer who's toured 6 of the 7 continents working with some of the biggest artists in the world. And now I'm going to answer your questions and break down what it really takes to make live shows happen. Let's get it. Moving to Lititz was wild. Oh my God. It was the ultimate culture shock, you know? Growing up in a big city like Atlanta, living in a mid-major city like Orlando, you know, both big buzzing cities. And now I was on my way to this tiny town where it's normal to get stuck behind a horse. Oh man. Man, there was like one movie theater, there was like one mall, and that wonderful fresh summer smell of fertilizer. It was a whole new world for me, that's for sure, man. It was definitely a culture shock. But the bigger shock, career-wise, it really felt like a step back. And for me, in my mind, no, it was not a step back. I was definitely where I wanted to be, but try explaining to your parents, your friends, that, hey man, I'm about to lose my benefits, my 401k, I'm about to take a slight pay cut, I'm moving to this really small town, but I promise it's not a step backwards. Yeah, that one's hard to explain, especially to like my mom. Like she was like, what? She was definitely supportive, but she was definitely like shocked, and she didn't understand it. And honestly, in her shoes, I wouldn't understand it either. So I moved to Pennsylvania. And, you know, I'm starting off in a warehouse. It were not glamorous days. When I first started, the company was like rearranging the warehouse. So my first like 2 weeks there was like moving boxes, moving cases, moving shelves, sweeping, mopping, dusting. It was not glamorous work at all. Once that was done, it started to feel a little more real. You know, I was actually prepping gear that was going out on tour. I was loading trucks, I was unloading trucks, and I mean, the people that I started there with, I mean, we all had the same goals, you know? We all wanted to just get out on tour. It was more than just punching the clock, you know? So it started to get better, right? And after lunch, we'd all go to this class. We'd learn their way of doing things. We'd learn like their safety habits, their signal flow, you know, operations. Like we learned the gear, and that was fun, right? So after about 3 or 4 months in the shop, that's when it finally happened for me. Now, most of the people that I started there with, they had already gotten calls, right? Most of them were still in the shop because their tours didn't start yet. You know, they still had a month, they had a couple weeks. They were still in the shop. And I'll never forget when I heard my name come over that loudspeaker. Whatever I was doing, it was like, stop and get to the phone. You know, it was like, Austin, you have a call on line 1. Oh man, I wanted to jump for joy, but it's like, I gotta be calm because everyone's looking at me. They all know what this is. So I make it to the phone, I pick up the phone, and the voice on the other end was like, hey, you need to be on the plane in like 3 hours. You're leaving like right now, you're going on tour. And man, I was like shocked. I watched everyone else get phone calls, but they're still in the shop. I get a phone call and I'm like, go, right? They're throwing me right into the fire, right? And I rushed home. I packed my bags. Actually, you know what? When I got home, I realized, man, I have not done laundry, right? So I'm throwing clothes in the washer. I'm trying to like clean and tidy up as much as I could, pack my bags, and I rushed to the airport, right? I'm like, this is finally happening. And I don't remember much about that flight, but I do remember checking into my hotel and I dropped my book bag, I dropped my luggage, and I just ran straight toward the bed and I hit a flip onto the bed. And I'm laying there on the bed staring at the ceiling and I'm just bawling my eyes out, man. I'm like fully overwhelmed. Like, it is happening. Oh my goodness. I went from not knowing how I was ever gonna make this happen to it's happening. Man, that was the greatest feeling ever. I still hold that feeling inside, right? You know, I still think about that time quite a bit. And I don't think it could have happened any better, honestly. Like, I was definitely lucky, like how it started, how everything happened. But that's how I got my start in the industry. And that's a wrap on how I got my start in the industry. I hope this series has given you a clear picture of my path and how you can pursue your own journey. Remember, everyone's road will be different, but there is always a way forward with the right vision and the first step. Be sure to join me next week as I shift gears and talk about my biggest challenges adjusting to life on the road. I can't wait to share my journey with you. See you next time.